Hey everybody, this is Robot here from Vespa Motorsport and ScooterWest.com here in sunny San Diego, California for all things modern Vespa and classic Vespa. Here I got a 2019 GTS 300 in Dolomite Blue. I got to beautify it a little bit, so we've went ahead and installed these Faco rear crash bars. So part number for the 250 and 300 is GTS 12F. If you're going to install these on the older model, a GT200, part number is GT12F. This is from the reputable company Faco out of Italy. Quality chrome accessories, very, very easy to install, especially when compared to the original Piaggio crash bars or many other crash bars. The easiest ones to install, easy to remove if you need to gain access for service. Look good to have a simple design. One thing to keep in mind is you do need to eliminate the reflectors found on the US models. You can remove the reflectors rather easily. You're going to have two holes remaining. Part number R plug will fill those holes, separate part, real inexpensive accessory that we have to fill those holes, or you could just not fill them, because pretty much the chrome crash bars kind of distract the visual look of seeing those holes anyways. Crash bars will help protect if the scooter does a minor tip over. You know, they'll hold the scooter up and keep the paintwork nice on your scooter, and vice versa. If your scooter's already fallen over, typically you'll have scratches on the side skirt. You could do an inexpensive upgrade to your scooter by putting the crash bars, and it kind of distracts you from seeing the scratches on the scooter. Let's jump on to installation. Also keep in mind we have the matching Faco front crash bars and rack. GTS 1113 is that part number. F, I think it is, ends with the F. Right on the screen we have the part numbers. Check out our other video for installation of those front crash bars. So here's the basic tools that you need to install the rear crash bars. If you have an older model GTS or GT200, you're going to need a number 3 and number 2 Phillips driver. If you're working with something that's 2011 and newer, they're going to use the star-shaped Torx drivers. So we have a T25 and a T30 driver. To install the bars, they use a single Allen fastener. You can either use the L-shaped Allen key in 4mm, or you can get a trick little small size ratchet with a 4mm Allen attachment, and you'll need a 10mm combination wrench. Start out by removing the side skirt on your GTS. Right underneath this turn signal, about right here, right where my finger is a single nut. And I already used the 10mm wrench to loosen the nut, so I just removed it by hand. Pretty straightforward. Towards the front of the side skirt, you're going to need either a T25 or a number 2 Phillips screwdriver to remove the single screw that holds the front. The skirt, you remove it by pulling away from the back and now you have the skirt off. Pretty straightforward. Only reason we need to take the skirt off is to put this bracket in place. These brackets are set up for both left and right, this being the right side here. The left side is identical, but a mirror image of this part. Depending on the year, it's either a T30 Torx or you'll need a number 3 Phillips screwdriver to remove the single screw that holds the upper part of the floorboard in place. And just go ahead and put the bracket, kind of set it in there, get the screw started. And you could see that the bracket is shaped to go into the floorboard. So pretty much tighten that down. Bracket's got like maybe a pinky distance right below it. Next, if you have the US model, it's going to have the reflector on it. Behind here is some pegs. You're going to want to cut these pegs, and that's how you remove the reflector. Once the reflector is moved, you're going to have two holes remaining. We sell a product that's part number R plug, and we also offer these plugs in many of the painted colors, and you could fill the two holes with these small plugs. Sometimes the plug may not want to go in. You could open up the hole just with a knife Don't want to open it too much, otherwise you may need to glue the plugs in place. And all they are is a button that has a friction fit, 2 little tabs, and you just push them right into the holes. Just like that. You can see it's flush. And keep in mind the arc plugs are not included with the rear crash bar kit from Faco. If you don't want to remove your reflectors, there's also the Piaggio crash bars that we've done several videos on, part number GTS 12PA, and that's the original Piaggio crash bars, and you can leave the reflectors in place if that's something you wish to do. And just to show you before I put this skirt on, the crash bar, the rear part is going to engage into that threaded fastener. It kind of gives you an idea how it's going to work once we get the skirt installed back in place. So go ahead and pop the skirt back in place. It has the 2 little teeth that hold it in the front. Make sure that seam looks perfect, just like it was before you took it apart. Put the single screw in place. And the front part of the mount included with the Faco set is a button head screw, 3 washers, including one that's a lock washer and a nylock nut. We'll start by engaging this tab right into that rear mounting point of the skirt, and you kind of just want to hold it in place and get the nut. I don't know if the camera can get this. Kind of feeling my way around. There's not much threads remaining after you get this in place. So I'm just going to leave it loose. Right now it's threaded on. You can see it moves around. And then we'll go ahead and get the crash bar lined up with the hole up front. Take your single fastener with one of the flat washers, and from the front, drop the fastener through, flat washer, split washer, or a lock washer, sometimes called a lock washer, and then your nut, or referred to as a nylock, a nylon locking nut. Take a 4mm Allen. I have an Allen key in this compact size ratchet. Makes the job a little easier. Take your 10mm wrench and go ahead and tighten the screw. And you do have some adjustability, kind of get these where they look symmetrical and look good. And now that you have the front mount in place, go back here, tighten that by hand, and then get up there with your 10mm wrench and just give it a couple turns. It's a little awkward getting the wrench in there because you have the muffler and the bars in the way. Don't want this to come loose and drop down on your muffler or onto the ground. And voila, you got the Faco crash bars installed. A little simpler than the original Piaggio crash bars that have more fastening points. These have a different look, kind of a simpler look. Look great with the bike. And you can see I have the left side installed, pretty much identical to the right side. And keep in mind, we do have a matching set that goes on the front. So these are pretty easy to install. Anybody can do the installation on these. Again, part number is GTS 12F. One thing to keep in mind, as with any chrome part, you want to keep them up, especially if you leave the scooter parked outside. Keep them dressed up, that is. So what I would recommend is occasionally putting a coat of just regular automotive wax. There is purpose-built chrome cleaners, to keep them clean and put a coating on them, but just regular automotive wax, just put a small coat on it every 2-3 months, kind of when you're cleaning the rest of the bike, and they'll stay looking new for quite a long time. And if you like, you can remove the stickers. A lot of our customers like the little Italian flag and the Faco. You can remove the little GTS sticker, real simple to remove. Until next time, this is Robot here from Vespa Motorsport, Scooter West here in San Diego. Subscribe to our channel for over 400 other videos related to Vespas, both modern and vintage. Follow us on Instagram, Vespa Motorsport. Follow me, Robot Vespa.